Legend has it that our ancestors left a hidden treasure in a place beyond our reach. Grandmother said it has been many, many years, and no one has ever seen it before. But the little boy sought to find the hidden treasure to give to his grandmother. To ensure future generations can enjoy and benefit from these riches, a group of people with great foresight moved these precious reserves into the cloud. They set up portals in every computer, and behind each of them is a stairway that leads to the fabled treasure hidden amongst the clouds. These treasured resources are systematically digitized to the cloud by the National Science Council's Taiwan e-learning and digital archives program, heralding the start of a pivotal development in the digitalization of the history of civilization. At times, we forget where we placed our belongings. There will be times when our memory may fail us, and though it is vital that we stow away our possessions, it is even more important to place them in an accessible location. With the advent of the digital age, the need to build a digitized island has become more pressing than ever. Taiwan is one of the few countries in the world where its citizens can upload their individual memories on a national platform and preserve them as the nation's collective memory for its future generations. In 2002, the National Science Council launched the National Digital Archives Program and the National Science and Technology Program for e-learning. These two programs were later integrated as the joint Taiwan E-Learning and Digital Archives Program, or TELDAP for short. TELDAP is the world's earliest large-scale archival project initiated by government. The amount of content to be preserved is extensive, and the program places Taiwan at the forefront of the digital archiving. The digitization of the nation's cultural treasures was the first step towards the nation's e-learning and digital development, and its success has spurred an e-learning culture in Taiwan and heralded a new dawn for academic research. In 1996, Dr. Guo Shuyang, then Vice President of Academia Sinica, advocated the utilization of information technologies in archival storage and preservation on the basis of open access and digital sharing, and he played an important role in the formation of TELDAP.
因为我们要把很多的知识就是个说这个做研究做的知识，能够把它这个适当的保存起来，所以我们那个时候呢，就因为这个可以说是这个技术上已经成熟了，可以这个录影或者是各种各样的这个形态的这个资料或者是这个研究的成果然后有了这个以后你就很容易传来传去传递比较方便保存也比较方便。
因为我对数位的事情是觉得这是这一个世代一个不可避免的趋势，我们的学生，我们一般的人民，绝对会在数位的世代里面有一个新的生活方式，所以他们也必须要知道人类的文明怎么来的，其中东方文明，我们这整个 华语文，还有就是我们的文物世界，是绝对非常了不起的。你看故宫，那我刚好是副院长，要去统合各个不同的所，语言所、事宜所，各个不同的社会所、民族所，很多不同的所呢，都在做这样的贡献。
Taiwan was not the first country to adopt digital archiving. At the G7 Information Society Conference in 1995, world leaders sought to make the world's scientific and cultural heritage accessible to the vast public. Led by France, Japan, and 11 other countries, including the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom, the Bibliotheca Universalis project was launched. The United Nations also launched the Memory of the World program and adopted cutting-edge technology to safeguard humanity's documentary heritage. In contrast, TELDAP was launched later in 2002, and in 10 years, the results of the program are now the world's leading standard for digital archival and preservation. Over the last 10 years, the program has developed 700 websites and information databases, and more than 5 million objects have been digitized. Should each digitized item be considered as a thin piece of paper, the total amount of items stacked up together would be as tall as Taipei 101.
政府的力量来结合国家的文物，那么形成一个国家型的一个数位典藏计划，这个在全世界都很少的。我们看美国，当然它有国会图书馆在做这个事，联合国有联合国在保存各地的这种所谓的人类文化遗产啦，这个文物啦等等。但是像我们这么样的有意识的说，我们重要的国家文化资料，那么是各自存在哪一些部门、哪一些机构，那用一个计划把它连接起来，这个几乎是没有的，所以这个是很珍贵，以后也难再有。
Unlike the Memory of the World program, TELDAP does not only serve as a collective memory for Taiwan, but also as an enduring legacy for Chinese culture. Dr. Louis Lancaster, Professor Emeritus in the Department of Asian Languages at the University of California, Berkeley, is a distinguished scholar in Buddhism. He has seen many research projects that integrate culture and technology and holds the TELDAP initiative in high regard.
The thing which impressed me the most about this national project to do the museums and libraries is the scope of it, that there was so much to be put in. So when we run a search and we do analytics, we get the pattern for the entire thing, so we really have the context, and that is quite unusual.
The government hopes to lead by example in promoting digital archives and e-learning methods and concepts throughout society, creating forward-looking environments that propel society forward.
望海，比岸边的黑石更远更远的是石外的晚潮。比翻白的晚潮更远更远的是堤上的灯塔，比谷里的灯塔更远。
Heeding the program's call for proposals, renowned poet and essayist Professor Yu Guangzhong has made his extensive body of work accessible to the world through the digital archives.
国家经济计划主要的目的呢，是希望结合国内学术界的研究的实力，然后呢跟产业界结合，能够让我们国家的产业方面的竞争力提升。
The digital archives are more than just repositories. Every year, a competition is held to encourage participants to innovate new ways to utilize these digital assets that cover 5,000 years of Chinese history in groundbreaking industrial applications. From its beginnings as an annually funded project to a full-fledged 5-year national plan, TELDAP is essential to Taiwan's future development as the high-technology powerhouse strives to strengthen its cultural and creative industries. However, there are still many obstacles to be overcome. When the government decided to surpass technologically advanced nations such as the United States and embark on TELDAP, no one knew that the first step into uncharted territory was going to be so hard. How do we establish the core leadership? What archiving specifications should we adopt? How do we make public access convenient? These were the questions that the Planning Committee had to answer. Facing an unprecedented challenge, the committee selected Academia Sinica, National Museum of Natural Science, National Palace Museum, National Taiwan University, National Museum of History, Academia Historica, Taiwan Historica, National Central Library, and Taiwan Provincial Consultative Council as the 9 designated institutions to initiate the program. In 2007, Chinese Taipei Film Archive, National Archives Administration, Council of Indigenous Peoples Executive Yuan, and Hakka Affairs Council were added to the pilot group, bringing the total number of participating institutions to 13.
我应该是在计划刚开始，大概10多年前的时候了。那么当时数位典藏计划要开始进行的时候，当时的中研院的副院长是杨国书杨副院长，他就找我说要我参与这个审查，担任审查委员。我当时也答应了，所以从那个时候开始，也可以说是数位典藏计划的第一天，我就参与了这个审查的工作。那又因为在审查小组当中被选出来做召集人，所以我就一直担任这个召集人。
各个相关的研究人员，我们要请他参加这个计划，要先一位一位的来给他谈，那么让他想清楚，然后来参加。而且参加了以后啊，就是长程的了就不是说做一个研究就了了。
With an elite team in place, the first question we had to ask ourselves was, what do we begin with first? Our foremost priorities were the fragile ancient texts, calligraphy, and paintings, documents, and maps. Disappearing treasures of the Aborigine peoples. Ancient artifacts. Archaeological finds. And epigraphs. These were the first items to be added to the collection. These, however, include architectural and geological heritage. Of course, we can also digitize moving images and sounds, such as theater, music, and films, all of which are part of the nation's outstanding cultural heritage, as well as the wildlife and vegetation of this island. To preserve Taiwan's diverse culture and history, TELDAP is open to proposals, and this allows individuals, the public, and private organizations to participate in the program, expanding the scope and depth of the project.
舞蹈瞬间即逝，动作发生的时候，它已经成为过去了，它需要被记录起来。云门所有的舞作，它是台湾的文化的财产，我们希望能够保存下去，能够让大家有机会在家里就可以研究云门，看到云门。所以2006年、2009年，我们申请，然后变成了国家数位典藏计划里面的一部分。2008年，云门舞集遭逢大火，在那个时候，我们特别感觉到参加数位典藏的重要跟珍贵。
By sharing the content in the digital archives, children living in remote areas will not have to travel great distances to appreciate the traditional arts. Likewise, children in the city will not have to make their way to the countryside just to appreciate the wonders of nature. Each year, more thematic groups from past to present are added to the diverse collection of content in the Taiwan Digital Archives Expansion Project, and this is but the tip of the iceberg. Suppose the contents from the Taiwan Digital Archives Expansion Project are raw ingredients. The Research and Development of Digital Archives and E-Learning Technologies Project can then be considered as the essential process in which the ingredients are used to prepare delicious dishes, ready to be served by the core platforms for Digital Contents Project for everyone's enjoyment. There would be 5 dishes, each specifically catering to different target audiences, such as the Academic and Social Promotions and Applications for Digital Archives and E-Learning Project, Industrial Development and Promotion of Digital Archives and E-Learning Project, Digital Education and E-Learning Project, E-Learning for Chinese Language Project, and the International Collaboration and Promotion of Taiwan E-Learning and Digital Archives Program. Unlike the activities used on personal social media, digital archiving is more than just picture taking, scanning, or saving and uploading data.
数位的力量、数位的技术、数位的高科技，已经把很多我们想象不到的平面变成为3度，或者说从时间上可以看到4度的一种影像。那这样的概念之下呢，困难就有了。我现在做一个花瓶。这个花瓶呢，我们平常看只能看到一面，现在我就希望能看到，这底下有什么东西，我又不能到图书馆或者博物馆去把它拿下来，可是在数位里面，我们可以把它拿下来，在一个画面上，然后可以翻过来，还可以把它看里面的是什么东西。那这些照相就要很大的功夫跟技术。
The TELDAP team does not solely work on digitalization. They are also responsible for standardizing the operating procedures on a national level. Whether the program will succeed or not depends heavily on their approach.
它就像一个有1000万藏书的总图书馆一样，你对它做任何一件事情，都要涉及到1000万本书。你不管是要换个条码，也是要1000万本书都要换，所以它是高度的复杂性。如果当初没有这个立下那个规模的话，我在猜执行10年之后，有很多东西可能就散掉了。
另外，所有的规格，困难在于说，我的规格不但是我要使用，全世界的人也在使用啊，我怎么跟世界等同？然后别人在很多地方可以从很远的地方一个手指头，然后进来可以看到我们的东西，我们也一样。想要去收集到别人的东西，所以这些规格跟标准要拉齐，所以这个是最困难的部分。
As a result, Academia Sinica set up a metadata architecture and application team to oversee and assist collection-based projects of the program in developing and applying metadata standards. To put it simply, metadata is the background information associated with each different object. The information includes the object's name, physical description, and place of origin, as well as its current state of preservation.
我们必须要制定目标，说这个数位化之后，所以我们当初很简单，就数位化就有好几种不同的规格。规格就是想说那个解析度，一个典藏级的、商用级的，然后就是浏览级的。浏览级就是在网络上给大家浏览的。高度的解析度是永久保存用的。
那么像这一类的标准，如果你没有去跟各个单位做说明，那其实会很散乱。所以我们的工作，尤其内容工作，就是跟这些收藏单位依不同的类别，跟他们定期的组织，然后讨论建立这个规范啊。那我想这几个部分大概是在台湾能够整体的进入这个数位典藏，能够有比较好发展的一个很重要的基础。
The process is a laborious one, as there are more than 5 million digitalized assets, and every single one of them comes with a backlog of meta-content, attachments, and digital files consisting of different formats. With a treasure scattered over several institutions in the cloud, we require a map that will allow us to find them quickly.
不然，这个整个的这个文物的数位化工作是如火如荼的在进行，但是你如果没有一个共同的，能够把所有这些数位化以后的资料经由一个入口，那么就能够搜寻到。事实上，这是各自为政，它不成为一个这个共通的一个计划，所以当时我建议说，必须要有一个联合的目录。
现在其实就建立了一些检索的系统，很容易的就能够让你完全掌握。我想这个是在对研究、对利用者来讲，这个是非常重要的进一步的发展。
The Union Catalog categorizes the content into different thematic groups, and the unified data is presented in a single interface called the Knowledge Web of Taiwan's Diversity. It is an interactive website that seeks to develop deeper understanding of the nation's cultural, social, and biological diversity amongst its people. Users are encouraged to utilize the knowledge exploration function to access the rich database, knowledge creation to individualize the learning experience, as well as knowledge sharing to share their experiences with the world. TELDAP is a project that combines culture with technology. With science and art often considered opposites, how did the team resolve their differences and come together to carry out a digital master plan for the ages? The initial challenge was that despite knowing how important archiving was and how useful computers would be, none of the team members had concrete experience doing digital archiving.
这个是一个前所未有的计划，因为是结合了数位科技跟人文研究，在国外在那个年代也刚刚起步，所以我们可以参考的东西其实不多，所以都是一个摸索。那最大的困难其实来自于说，这是一个跨部会跟跨机构的参与的人数呢非常非常的多。
In the archives, we have digitalized artifacts that are important to the history of human civilization, biological preservation such as floral, fauna, and geologic features, the arts and humanities such as languages, history, monuments, and architecture, social sciences such as political science, economics, and sociology. Regardless of their origin, these data are stored within the digital archives and span every possible area of interest. All the archived documents, artifacts, specimens, films, and architecture have to be digitalized into text, sound, video, as well as 2D or 3D electronic data for preservation.
我们内容的人大概都是人文学者参加的，如果对最新的其他分项的进展或者技术不够了解，或者是大家各行其事，那我们整体还是没有办法变成一个整体性的规划。所以内容开会的时候，其他单位都要有人来，每一个计划都要有一个窗口，解决不同计划的疑难杂症。
这个东西是从无到有嘛？那从无到有的话呢，都会有一些困难。可是这半年基本上来讲，最要紧的是把一个共同的词汇建立起来，所以花了半年时间才找到可以对话的点，所以这当然是我觉得是很辛苦的一件事情，可是很值得啊。
At that time, Dr. Qing Junxie, who was the first director of the TELDAP program office, felt that the operation model for this digital age called for cross-discipline knowledge and cooperation. By resolving the differences and respecting the work done in different fields, there would be breakthroughs that would lead to eventual successes.
谢金教授虽然是知性背景的人，但他对人文的素养非常的深厚，所以他更重要，他有一个理解，他是觉得资讯科学的人是工程师，他不是一个典藏资料库的主导者，而是一个沟通者。
With a human component of their problems resolved, the team had to turn their attention to the issues regarding intellectual property rights and licensing.
很重要的一点，你愿不愿意把你最精彩的东西拿出来给他看？这是一个非常大的困难。我一上网，我一上线，别人都可以拿得到，别人就可以随便拿去做复印啦，做复制啦，这个版权是谁的？说这个东西呢会不会被滥用？这些概念都必须要解决。
事实上，全球都是面对同样的问题，就是授权。很多事情是说，在网络上的时候，很多著作权是非常模糊的。
TELDAP adopted several new concepts, such as the Creative Commons license, intellectual property rights management, where once the rights to an object are cleared, it can then be licensed for commercial use and generate economic value. Whenever an issue is resolved, it will benefit the ever-changing Taiwanese society by finding a new way to adapt. Within the millions of digitized assets, there are various hidden treasures. While there are collections from the government organizations, public initiatives such as the Chinese Buddhist Tripitaka Electronic Text Collection, Taipei Edition, are well preserved as well. It is an extensive collection of scriptures from the Chinese Buddhist Electronic Text Association and provides a management system for the database to finish the colossal task of amassing Buddhist scriptures and becoming the most complete Buddhist scripture database in the world. Over the past 10 years, the team has worked endlessly on this large-scale, complex program, yet they too will grow old and weary.
因为执行数位典藏的学者，大部分他的生活条件跟他的战斗条件不一致。一个学者得到博士以后只有30年了，那么很多人花10年的功夫，所以这件事情也让我觉得有一些困难，就是说很多人你不好意思再勉强他，再勉强他，你说再用最大的力气来帮我把最后这些困难的阶段事情完成，因为他都已经花掉10年的光阴了。
Participating researchers not only have to complete their given tasks in a finite amount of time, but also must resolve unfamiliar obstacles that appeared over the course of their work.
因为它占到我最宝贵的时间。作为一个历史学者，大概40岁是刚好成熟可以创作的时候。那我参与这个计划，就是我41岁的那一年一直到我现在进入所谓中晚年的开始。所以我最精华的一段时间，等于是奉献给这个计划。
Without these unsung heroes, all this content would have been left unidentified, and no one would know of their origins and their value. And behind the scenes, there are many countless others sharing information of the program on blogs, comics, e-newsletters, social networks, and journal articles, giving a human face to the project. This fascinating achievement is the culmination of a decade's work, where close to 5,000 project members gave their time and effort to make all this possible. The digital archives and e-learning projects started out as two separate initiatives. This was before the government decided to combine them after the end of the first 5-year plan into TELDAP. Can two distinctly different projects be successfully integrated into one successful program? What is e-learning? Any electronic-supported learning that employs the use of electronic devices to access learning materials, both online and offline, can be considered e-learning. In the first stage of TELDAP, 137 e-learning centers were set up over a span of 5 years, creating an e-learning industry that has seen a boost in its industrial worth from 400 million NT dollars to 12 billion NT dollars. At the same time, the number of industrial partners has seen a 10-fold increase from an initial 20 to the 200 organizations at present.
有许多声音，不同的这个方向来的声音，是希望把这2个国家性计划合并。其实这2个计划一开始性质相当不一样，合并有它的困难性。
那合并了之后呢，我们也很努力的去思考了哈，就说呢，除了把这个经验呢带到数位典藏之外，是不是真的可以把这2个计划的原来的 mission 都能够并在一起了？那后来发现呢，的确是有一些 link 啦。
数位典藏所做出来的庞大的数百万件的这个东西，如果能融入数位学习，或是融入数位教学，或是融入这方面呢，是一件很好的事情。这2个应该是两盟其利的事情。那么现在我们朝这个方向在推动。
As a large-scale project, TELDAP has changed how the Taiwanese approach learning and transformed Taiwan's international standing as one of the first few countries to adopt e-learning.
数位学习呢，其中非常大的一个目标是要推动一个产业。
数位学习这个领域里面，这些厂商因为开始有这个国家型计划来帮助他们，让他们有机会然后跨入到国际上面去这一步呢，我们做的是相当成功的。
The Digital Education and E-Learning Project covers over 4,000 different subject courses and has over 300,000 members. It started out as a learning system for civil servants and was gradually extended to the public. More than half of Taiwan's leading corporations have incorporated e-learning as part of their training, and this has increased productivity while lowering operation costs. Users from different professions can access the learning materials with ease, and this allows corporations to transform the company's vision into its operations effectively.
数位学习呢，跟产业是很有关联的我们提供养分，让它可以发芽。那很成功的一个非常明显的例子是什么呢？就是英语教学。
那最近我们开发的标准还放在未来教室、电子书等等这个都导入到品质的一个标准里面，所以我们是比较有步骤的，而且有计划性的来做，同时一开始就以品质服务、品质管控这样的角度，把数位学习推到应用部分。
In the near future, students in Taiwan will be able to ditch their heavy school bags for light digital backpacks. They can discover new knowledge wherever they may go and have a deeper understanding of this world. The millions of students in Taiwan can visit the Integrate Digital Archives into Teaching website to access learning materials that are verified by subject matter experts, attempt quizzes, make academic submissions, find supplementary materials to their curriculum, and bolster extracurricular knowledge. This will constitute a learning environment built on cloud infrastructure, and an intelligent classroom will provide students with a dynamic learning experience.
我相信未来台湾在数位学习的发展上面，应该会有很大的一个竞争力，尤其在华人地区，我想这方面对台湾而言是一个很重要的一个契机。
TELDAP has also influenced lifestyle changes, as citizens who live in far-flung places or have a lower educational background can now access medical resources and the cultural arts via cloud computing and obtain better medical benefits as well as educational resources. At the same time, TELDAP has also revolutionized the way researchers carry out their research.
我们其实在系统设计上有我们独到的地方嘛，就是我们会把资料之间的关联性当作非常重要的一个系统设计的考量。那这个其实在这个现在有一个新的领域叫做数位人文，
所以我觉得可以想见数位人文学，使得我们跟材料、跟历史叙述、跟人文的这个表现、思考的方式、思考的途径、表述的这个逐渐产生微妙的变化。它正以一种微妙的方式，在改变我们跟过去、跟生活世界、跟其他许许多多东西的这个关系，还有表现的方式。
For 40,000 years, the collective memory of the human race has been passed down by word of mouth from generation to generation. It took a century before we transformed that essence into words and letters. The work to convert textual mediums into digital data has only been in progress for a decade, yet the task to digitalize historical artifacts is not complete, and the amount of new information is steadily increasing. In what ways, then, should TELDAP continue to make an impact? After 10 years, will the program finally come to an end? For the past decade, these unsung heroes have sought to build this trove of treasures in the cloud. To them, the program is like a child they brought up, and like any proud parent, they all have high expectations for it.
每个计划都一定要有结束的时候嘛，对不对？所以这个结束，我觉得也就是结束了嘛，哈。所以我觉得这件事情其实应该都要继续去做了。好，那我相信很多个人会继续去做哈。我自己的话，我大概是为人文这方面，我会一直做下去，做到我退休哈。
现在虽然是结案，它不可能真的结案，就是说它一定要 maintain 在那里。
当然，这近10年来，事实上也应该要告一段落了哈。而且人才的培育工作，同时对一般前民对数位典藏跟数位学习的认知哦，事实上这个观念都已经形成了哦，所以我是觉得未来发展应该是一片光明，而且应该可以越做越好。
In the late 1990s, no one knew what digital archives and e-learning were. But now, digital archives and e-learning are terms everyone is familiar with. Dr. Ovid Jung proposed an I don't have to own it, but I have to share it concept in which the technology can be used in collaboration with foreign museums and to collect information on national treasures that are lost overseas. TELDAP's success has showcased the nation's academic achievements to the world and raised Taiwan's visibility in the international community.
在数位学习这方面，我们的这个学术的表现，事实上是全世界第2名。仅次于美国，而且制定了很多标准，那些标准对厂商的这个水准的提升有很大的帮助。
国外看到我们的成果之后呢，都表示很羡慕，他们都希望说，我看他能不能够加入我们这个计划，也受到我们这边的技术资源。所以事实上表示，事实上是我们这个计划在国际事实上已经有相当的成果。我们也参与所谓的台湾文化入口网的这个国际组织，事实上我们已经争取到是所谓亚太的秘书处的这个位置。现在全球文化入口网这一个网站，事实上是由我们这边在维持的，在维护的。
Beginning in 2008, TELDAP has been working with the Getty Research Institute, which is collaborating on the Art and Architecture Thesaurus Taiwan project, in which a Chinese version of the AAT is currently in development. Once completed, it will be the world's first structured vocabulary to include Asian art, architecture, and material culture in the AAT. The multilingual search will then allow anyone in the world to search the TELDAP Union Catalog and its 4 million digitized images in their own language.
台湾这块土地上所拥有的文物，除了大陆，好，我们还有很多亚洲，我们还有很多真的是全世界很重要的文物在我们这里。每一个馆藏去看，现在所完成的只不过是一部分，这个是你文明的代表，你必须要投入很大的经费来做这个，才能告诉全世界的人 Who am I？因为我这么好的东西，不能在这个时候就不见了。我怎么让全世界所有的人看到我们台湾为人类保存了这么一个重要的文明？
因为这是台湾的文化的 DNA， 从大自然到人文，从故宫博物院的收藏到原住民的工艺品，是历史、人文、大自然这些东西，是台湾的大脑，是台湾的最重要的资产，应该让每一个人在家里 push button， 你就可以进入这个世界，使它成为我们生活里面的一部分。我们希望数位典藏继续下去，使它成为我们精神上的 7-Eleven。
TELDAP has heralded a new development in digital technology, and it will continue to evolve, ensuring the treasure in the cloud will flourish.